Yeah, I mean, and that's typically the standard operating procedure is somewhere down the road. It's basically to put ideas out there that this is not an automaker, right? Because that business is worth zero or less, depending, what you're building and how much of it. The interesting thing to me about cyber cab or whatever was, granted, there's no driver, but it was only 2 seats. Am I wrong on that? Or
That's so
it
weird.
would seem like,
Makes no
right,
sense to
like it
me.
would seem like you would, right, like you go out as couples or, you and a couple of buddies. Like it seemed like 2 seats, even though I thought it should have held more people to that, but whatever. But no, that's ultimately the plan is that this is a company that is a story stock, obviously, and the narrative is every way that it is not an automaker, and it's about technology and all the non-disprovables down the road that get it the valuation similar to other or even higher than other tech companies.
And I mean, he also revealed this robo van concept that could transport as many as 20 people. I think we were showing images of the van, but I agree on the 2 seats thing. But of course, you think about why this is going over so poorly in the stock market. It's because the timelines here are so squishy. I mean, you think back to 2019, and Elon Musk said that he was going to have 1 million robo-taxis on the road the following year. And that obviously did not happen. We are in 2024. But I mean, Kevin, you point out in your notes that this is sort of, par for the course for Tesla and for Elon Musk specifically.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's every excuse of he doesn't make it, but he eventually gets there or whatever. And I think the issue with the stock today versus competitors is that one, it proved that he isn't far and away ahead of anybody, if at all, or how far behind, because those competitors have come out very recently and said like, hey, besides the science and the regulatory environment, this still has to make money someday. And we're very far away from that. And I think when you look at the event last night, he didn't answer any of those questions. If those are the three big things, like, hey, is it possible? By when? And when does it make money? The investors really didn't get any of those answers. So you sell off one and you buy the others that at least, if nothing else, might not be any closer, but they're being more realistic about the goals.
By the way, there already are driverless like robo-taxis in San Francisco and probably other super progressive cities. Why is this such a big deal? Why is it so hard to achieve it? Waymo already does it.
Yeah, well, I thought what was interesting going back a way, they talked about, because you'll hear it all the time, especially from the bulls, about how much data they get from full self-driving already being on the road. But the question is, how much of it is actually usable? How much is actually teaching anything, right? If nothing's happening, what are you learning from that data? So you can collect all the miles, but until you have a disengagement or an event, it doesn't really learn anything. So, I think it's a little bit of that, is that people get distracted by how much data they collect. But my question is like, how much of it is really usable? And how do you prepare or plan for all the things that don't happen all the time, or are very rare? So, I don't know that, the question of the science of it to me is, and the safety of it is paramount. And that's before you get into all the other issues, right? The regulatory issues and the profitability issues. So, I think investors are looking at it like the Ubers and Lyfts of the world, or even Waymos of the world, that are being a little bit more conservative on timelines, on safety, on profitability, are being rewarded, I guess, for lack of a better word, in this market.